Dan Vandal, and I am the Minister of Northern Affairs. I have the great pleasure of being with you this morning virtually for this very important announcement. But before we get started, it is my honor to invite Aju Peter to lead us in the lighting of the Kulik. Ulakut Aju Peter, please go ahead. Ulakut Aju Peter, can you hear me? Please go ahead for the opening prayer and lighting of the Kulik.
Nakomik unakulla te mga ni Inuit atoktangan ukiok taktumi utawgatta ama sibulita uvattinnu tunisimayanga tema kisian ni Inu unalaung mata ukiok taktumi.
Good morning. The Khudluk is a symbol of our culture, and the only way that our ancestors were able to survive is through the Khudluk, which represents our ancestors.
Amma ullumi atokat taktabusuli pimmariyo yuni katimayo kalakaimat pigi ako tigillugu upigigat tigi sibuligun tigunam niya lungin nukisiyani inugunnalaumata.
The Khudluk represents today our culture and ceremonies and different events that we are invited to like the Khudluk in representing our ancestors, because we are very proud of their strength and their resilience to survive to this day.
Walu innagayatta okau singin amalu ilku singin suli kayu sakawatigo sila tunikut inugunnalaumata amata manna uvattinnon atoktaw kullugu sila tunikut inukulluta iqama kulluta.
And that we wish to sustain our beliefs and values of our culture through wisdom and through smartness, and we want to be able to preserve the values and beliefs onto to our descendants through wisdom and smartness. Good.
Nakurmik, thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining you from my office here in the city of Winnipeg in St. Boniface, St. Vital, homeland of the Red River Métis Nation and Treaty 1 territory, and a city that is now home to many Inuit. And I welcome you from all the places that you are joining us today. I'm very pleased to see many familiar faces today. My last visit to Nunavut was last year in August. when I visited Rankin Inlet, Arviat, and Iqaluit, as well as Pond Inlet. I joined many of you at different events, announcements on infrastructure and mental health, and our government's commitment to continue to be your partner through the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Today, we are focusing on Iqaluit and our collective efforts to mitigate change, to improve infrastructure, and to improve the quality of life for all Iqaluit residents. We are honored to have with us Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Good morning, Prime Minister. I'd like to also welcome the Premier of Nunavut, PJ Akeeagok. Thank you for being here, Premier. And the Mayor of Iqaluit, Kenney Bell, a strong advocate for Iqaluit residents, and a person my team and I have been in close contact with over the last several months. We also have Iqaluit, President of Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated. It's very good to see you again, Iqaluit. And also joining us is Nunavut Member of Parliament, Lori Iqaluit. Thank you for joining us, Lori. Thank you all for your partnership and for being with us today. And I do look forward to returning to Nunavut soon to continue building our strong relationships together. I'd also like to acknowledge the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities, Dominic Leblanc. I know how hard he and his team have worked with the Mayor and the government of Nunavut to make today's announcement happen. And I know how much he wanted to be here today, and we all wish him very well. I would now like to turn it over to Prime Minister Trudeau.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Iqaluit. I'm happy to be here today with Minister Vandal, Premier Akeeagok, PJ, Mayor Bell. It's great to see you both virtually. I want to thank both of you for your continued leadership and partnership. It's also great to be joined by Iqaluit, President of Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated, Jeremiah Groves, Executive Director of the Kikitani Inuit Association, as well as MP Iqaluit. Lori, I know you've consistently been a very strong voice for your community. We're here today with good news for the people of Iqaluit.
Lakot takwa sibulio ofasida kayange ulumi uwane kata yunagama hotele bunga same Boniface miktunga say betel nunangane Winnipeg me adlang rotinga 21 nunangane Red River adlanga yu nunangane to takwa amisuno nunakajaro mejo tunga sukti bungara amisune namituina tabane katimayuno takwa yakatawuni huwa pungado takwa ile samna prape tabane takuna megake kayulom nyuna bomela sema makane agus mutidlogo new pora semi makanga seno makweano yakharona mitkimataremdo taikoro amisho soktunga jige ngitune pakuta haksimbe yung katimabia halagamata to shakti tigartokuta nunere mwana ora tuti hatta makematut say amara wesem malagni wechano gama mai longa rotige simayangani katuti hatige yanganyo governor to ko tiluta COVID-19 sema palera kilogo Finisho hatigila smegake ungatanullo ullo mede towaga hamnafte goy kharunne kachuje hatigi tuta tamane kana to aswaranga gatta sila okko se ballene ngan wasijja pelle parum aqbal hullo lo tamane nyunangata awla yunautingi kashitu nycheno amma Iqaluit nyuna hakto inyusinga akaqayama saqulubi tabane khatangwa taqsinarmima Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Iqaluit Prime Minister tungasutigo malugulu Nunavut siburaftinga pijahago hoyanna mewani gunagabe tanya meyaga yayo kalumni Kenney Bell nipiga lagatimam sangi yuluni kalumni yakalumni an pichu chahaktune sanga chahatrama ubagulu tapagaytigu Penso hachigate simagati takanya anigokune hachikalani ayuanatuta. One hatamayo alokikokte Nunavut tungabiku angayakang takungwa taksinamagaki hoyanami. Udlumita one hatamayo Nunavut pekojareotinga lower idla tabane ekayosimalagamayo tabunga Hanutu hatigiya hatam, Hojalibunga, Tapo, Katuja hatigiyabu, Uvani hatayunamata, Yurutumado, Nunavut, Sangi Jumi, Iqaluit hatiginikut, Katuja hatigi hatameata. Matana, Eritarium, Midaka, Minister Yugam Kunu, Makima Yurichan will do, Ara Yunautin, Nunadari Dominic Labla. أتصور تيارتوني كأنه شخصي مما نقنا يقتني بين سواقة شخصي مما تمايمي أما نونا بقابل ما كوني تشخصي تخلو تاودمي خانو يديو قسوار مغاتا وواني قمال لغي لغتو قروا أقونا ما بيجا تخمي غمي خانو يخو قمينا نميجو قروا تانا سيبو لقامي Prime Minister Trudeau Oharimagatam, the Oharimakayo Kauman, Hoyana Miltune, Prime Minister Takununga, Uwane Hato, Wataksinamigame, Hobetugo, Tabane Hatalunagame, Minister Vandal, Amarutunga Shutigo Malugu, Tana Premier Akeeagok, Mayor Bell, Takotigo Nagata. Takriyautikku garwa katimayunnagata tamakke hoyanna mirpaakka sivuruttitsaavausimaninginniun amma katutiqatigitsiarsimakattigu taannalu uvani qataumiyu aluki kuutteq angiyaqqaanga Nunavut tungavi kutimingata amma Jeremiah Groves sivurartinga hipiqtani inyu katutiqatiginniun amma Tachimunga MP idlo uwane nipigayaasimallarima Hojalibunga uwane qatayunnaqatsi tusartittineartilluta tusaruminartumi.
Making sure everyone has access to reliable, safe, and clean drinking water has always been a top priority for us. When evidence of contamination was found in Iqaluit's water supply last October, we saw members of the community step up. You helped one another. You looked after your neighbors and your elders, and you delivered water to the most vulnerable. You were there for each other. I want to thank you.
Sibuldaqpautisimagatsiu narunaqunniilaumaa Iqalui ima luttuaraularmata iqalummiutai October-lausimmayumi nunaqqatigi ikajortiuqatigigiallaqatluiummata uttiqnayumma ikajortiuqatigiittusi immikkut taakkualu qanigiyasi sanillisi innatuqaquluillu immittaqutiauhattartusi taakkua pigganiqqaaqutigijavu immittaqutiauhattarungata tatigiittusi ikajortiuqatigigunalauqatsi quyannami.
When we learned about this issue, our government immediately reached out to local and territorial officials to determine the scope and offer our support. We sent the Canadian Armed Forces to provide potable water to residents through temporary purification systems. These efforts helped people access clean water from the Sylvia Grinnell River in the short term, but we knew we needed to act fast to find a long-term solution a solution that meets the needs of Iqaluit residents now and into the future.
Tusa tuakata tamanna akai dewa kutigi yase gaba magbu tapat chautigi hawi gara wata nuna katitini amma sibura tingi nuna tini kanu tigi imiglutigi mangata kanu leka yogunak manata tapa ngati kau tigi rautugo kanata una lechaya kungi kayo hatakuni imigat yumi yameng imigat video kullugi atok tau kanya lang ayumi salam maksa tau si mayumi kakwaro pinasuami ninyo ako niya kakunak sila tugon Iqaluit ko nga imigat video si maluti ato kanya lang ayumi hawi magataro tan yukko nanisige harang agata ako neonak sa mo sibonit kinyo ato siya imakatya ako nakuduta ato tao yun naktunin kakwa haramute kingo mayangi ang matiyaw siya kudubi.
Bâtir un meilleur avenir pour nos communautés, ça commence avec des infrastructures fiables. Partout au Canada, y compris dans le Nord, des catastrophes naturelles causées par les changements climatiques peuvent menacer la santé des gens, créer des interruptions dans les services essentiels et perturber les économies locales. Il est donc important de bien se préparer et de trouver des solutions durables.
Building a better future for our community starts with reliable infrastructure. All over Canada, including the North, catastrophic natural disaster caused by climate change can threaten people's health, create interruptions the essential services, and disrupt local economies. It is important to properly prepare and find solutions, sustainable solutions. Tan sibonit tatinye yunatini kisani pigarluta wata imene makimaturichane awra yunatinyo pigarluta kana tarimame narunarunong okyortakto pirwakto sila koyumo aji umituara wasimaranga sila buko sibalea ngano kanweri balea tunyaktuniro abatibu inyo katigenyo kanwi ngitsiare hakarwakiluta kanwi bigota walangan amana nukasitigota watune makununga pijitsara kotinyon nyunatinyilu makimatutitinyo kina uyarne nukakala kota usakatartune tamanna silabun pimmakibu parungasi makiari harnuriyabu amma anna matutitigiyunnartatinye kayusi natsiakuluta nanisigiakarangibu.
Indigenous peoples and Northerners are already seeing and living through the profound impacts of climate change in their communities, from melting permafrost to coastal erosion to extreme weather. Climate change is impacting critical infrastructure that's already limited. We need to continue investing in long-term solutions and sustainable infrastructure, and that's exactly why we're here today.
Nakakasi mayo taman ukortakta maylo ujirasumatayla inusangmilo atoktote taman hawi mamata angiwaramme soqaivallianangani ippinarmenganu taman sila uqqusivaliananganu asijipalliamma nunarinni tamanalo nuna ikeanga mangupalliagiwaramma uppalliamma akhili balliallunni sila koyo hattaktunilo anoqiga yuraqtunni silalo tamanna qoosiballiananganu asijjiballiama makunninga nyunare immuane awratute hattaktu atuluanguartu nyuna mangupalliananganu kibe hattarmata atsullunilli pitahaggainartilluta Sulila ako niyo kanokto kasukata papal annam yuritsani lumakim yuritsinyon tabba ullume tabane gutigayabu kanokto kaswamariyabu.
I'm pleased to announce today that through the Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund, the federal government will invest over $214 million to ensure the safety and sustainability of Iqaluit's water supply system. This project will improve the water supply system with the creation of a new reservoir adjacent to Lake Geraldine. It will also improve the city's water distribution system to meet the increasing needs of the population. This is a positive change for the people of Iqaluit and for the local economy. Our government will continue working with you as partners to deliver results now and into the long term.
Ulumi uqausigiñaaq tabu qubiattungaila uqaqunaqaatsaqqutauluni piquluaqiluhaqtillugu atsujuumiigutitsat amma sungiutik balliagutitsanu kiinaviaqtaaqbiugattau atorniaqattigu kanatau gavmakkunginni akiliiniusajugu $240 million ungataani attanaqviat yuumiqulluta ammattau taakkua annaumajurittai makimajuritnginñuun Iqaluit ima aurajjutigivattanginñuun akilersuit jutauniartun taannalu pilerianguniartu tabbani ilasananiartavu imermu imiuaulaninnganu pivaallerutaulaqalangammata nyutaamillu imertarbiu saniani tappikani Lake Geraldine tasami imakkuvitsal lirumalluta taannalu aaqipaallerutaulangamma nyungali immuani imermu aulajjutigivattangita sullulikkutaakkun taakkua inugiannitsinniu kinguumayaujut angummatiyunnarsiñaangata taanna piujuma aaqipallianimmat Iqalumiutai amma nunattinniu kiinaviartigu makimatjutitsatinnio taakkualu gavamavun katutiaqatigijarlu taima kayusitittigasuallaqailangayugut saqqerunnartunni.
Avec l'annonce d'aujourd'hui, on s'assure que nos infrastructures soient plus résilientes pour l'avenir. On va améliorer l'approvisionnement, le stockage et la distribution d'eau, et on va offrir aux résidents d'Iqaluit un accès fiable à des eaux potables pour les années à venir.
With today's announcement, we ensure that our infrastructure is more resilient for the future. We will improve supply, storage, and distribution of water. We will offer residents of Iqaluit accessible and clean drinking water for years to come. Ullume tusartittinerijavu tamani yunili immuani aurajjutiuvat makimatjutivut auratsiarunarjuumiyuni sivunittinniun piqaqulluta ammalu tamanna aaqqipaalerasu minganangajavu atuinnaqartittinnu imertarviharna ammalu imaawalanerivattanga sullulikkun siamapalliajuutingi aaqqitiarsimallutin taakkua Iqalumiutai atuinnaqatsiaqullugi salumayumillu imaqatsiaqullugi aqqaagunnun akkertunnu.
As we wrap up, I also want to make sure to thank Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Canada's Minister of Infrastructure, who can't be here today because of COVID, who worked really hard to make it happen. He really wanted to be there with you all for this big announcement, and actually so did I. You know, I always love to come and see you, and I look forward to getting up there again soon. In the meanwhile, we'll continue to all work together to build stronger communities for everyone.
Tanya, ullume Mr. LeBlanc, Mr. LeBlanc, Minister LeBlanc, qoyannamerumallaqittaqa ullume uvaniigunnangama COVID-19 pijjutigillugu uvaniigumallaqilaortuugalu ayuinnammaqilaortu kisiani taatamin ayuinnaaqartunni kayusitittivalliasimamma uvangattau tappaaniigumammaqilaavaluartunga Kajana tuaro matapana nuriutungara tapangara kachamana makut kangatuenya tabane peniswakati nyamigatayda pidare yakini.
Before we end today, I want to acknowledge Pope Francis's apology for the Church's role in the abuses that took place in the residential school system. We look forward to him coming to Canada to deliver that apology in person. This apology would not have happened without the long advocacy of survivors who journeyed to tell their truths directly to the institution responsible and recounted and relived their painful memories. It took a tremendous amount of bravery and determination. Today's apology is a step forward in acknowledging the truth of our past in order to right historical wrongs, but there's still work to be done.
Pope Francis Akeeagok tigasimaya iksa riwatutsa bingati tamitsa kaichamanitsa awlawad jawlutilinga gawad jawtarawsmayo sokosikulu mitsa pimmarimatan ayoinya gasima yo kay koiringa gakta hataraw ayoinya kyartuti mamiabu masimamata Kanwelokta hatama minominu keiko ang patakayo sigunna kajaraw man. Hojere yugo acho hatak mimingan irinya gakta hataraw kumuna minyar daw jawlutin. Takwaro hojagilutigo mamiano kajangano kayutungaro kanatamula kayanga Pope Francis hangatuin siya tamaunga imene mamiagartokulune nyaqeukitagarabo aywe tamanna pemmariaruma mamisakosi samawsibunitsatinyo sibunitsakatiahuluta.
Aujourd'hui, le pape François a présenté ses excuses pour le rôle de l'Église dans les abus qui ont eu lieu dans les pensionnats autochtones. C'est une étape importante. Notre gouvernement va continuer de soutenir les communautés autochtones à travers le pays avec les ressources nécessaires pour poursuivre les recherches des tombes anonymes, dévoiler la vérité et continuer à guérir. Thank you all. Merci. Nakumik.
Today, Pope Francis apologized for the role of the Catholic Church in the what that took place in residential school. It's an important step. Our government will continue to support First Nation communities across the country with the necessary resources to find anonymous graves, to find the truth and continue to heal. Ulumi kainela Pope Francis mamir nurisimayanga iksaratio mitsana bigju tegedluge awlarutjavlutilinyara tijawhattalarsamayo nunaming kana pimmari alloriarutinga mamianninga gavamavullu ayuinya kerangayo nunahaqqaarsimayo nunanginni kanatalimami namituinnatia nanissigasuarangagatta ataqaungittune ilijauqattartuvinumi iluvinginni suriyumillu tamanna qinarutigilangagatsigo qanuilillaqinnermanga saimaqatigilangagatta akausivallialangagatta kisiani qaujimajaingaqilerutigo qanuiliortauqattanermanga tusartaulutillu.
Thank you, Prime Minister. This is indeed a very, an extremely important announcement, and I thank you very much for your words. Next, I invite the Premier of Nunavut, PJ Akeeagok, Premier of Nunavut, to say a few words. Welcome, Premier.
Nunavut siburaqtinga pyyä Akeeagok uqausittaaqarupi tungasupi.
Okay. Udlakun quyannami qaalu pilonguartumi innarpun aayu qullumme pigiartitti yuannuqaugavut quyannami tiappagi amma innai tavvanittum taannalu sivulertertuavu Prime Minister Trudeau alane takuqattautikkannerunnaqattam taakuallu Minister Vandal amma taanna Minister LeBlanc tavvanigunnangittiugalua qaayumattiarpugu tavvanigumortualorninganni ilisaqittiaqumavaram taakuallu angajoqqauti President Coates maligallertivu ilakiggartuijivu Ottawa Miss Iqaluit Minister Juanasi tavvanni qataumimman amma Mayor Bell so quyannami alane uddaanguju tavvanni katittuinnaujunnaartuinniugatta taanna pimmaqerjuangutilluguilaam taakkua imaqarunnarnu pimmaqerjuangummat taanna uddaanguju nalunertauninga angijorjuangumman imaqattiarunnarnuppu ullumimun amma sivunittinnam taanna nunalivu piqurpallianninga ippinnernaarsimamman piluanguartumi piqurpalliagumannerpun illukissarnittinna pilluteqarluttam quyalertuarpungaila taakkua government-eqakkun taassuminga attuaviaqarlutti saqqiigunnarsimammata ikajorunnarsimallutti taanna nunalipauyavu Iqaluit quviasuttiaqillungua ikajorunnalaurama taanna tuavernarningani amma pimmariuninganni government-eqakkun ikajoruaqarninginnum taakkua atuinnaugunnarneq tamanna imirtiava nunalittinni pimmaqerjuangumman qaayumallutallu amissu nunavumiutain assuruqattarsimammata taakkua imaqattiarunnarsimanginninginni assuruqqanneриақарниtta taanna pimmaqerjuangummailaa qaayumattiarpugu taanna Iqaluit imertarvinga imaqarvingaila pimmaqerjuangunningannu illuluuppalliagunnarniartinniittunnu tuqaakkannerunnarniaqatta qaayumagatta illukissarne taanna angiyummaqerjuangumma tavvannittau nunalipaujau iluanne ajigittiarmimmagu tamanna ullaanguju nalunertauju kiinaujain ikayutiugunnarsimaniartu nunalipaujamu qaayumagatta tamanna sila asitserpallianingannu parnasimattiariaqerniaqatta amma taanna innuppallianinga Iqaluit angummattigiaqersimamman tamanna nunalipaujaila piqurpalliartuarsimamman aqqaaguit tavvaujun qaangirataartavut sivunittinnulu piqurpallianiarninga qaayumalluka tamakkua imirtarviqattiariaqersimaniarninga pimmariuninganni taakkuallu pivaallerutissaiin saqqipalliagunnarniarningin piluanguartumi sivunittinnu parnaigumavallianiartillukam ullaanguju nalunertauju tamanna saqqirtuarsimamman qannu katutsilluta piyunnangikkaluammangaatta quyannamiittiaqumavakka taakkua government-ulluta tavvane nunalipaujakkun ikajorunnalauqattigut tusseraarisimayanga amma taakkua innui katutseqatigiingi taakkua atausiugaigatta katutsilluta tautugaqijattinnam angijumut tuqaasuungugatta tamanna uuttuutittiavavu neriunarpoq taakkua assingi nunaliin assuruarikkannepalliagunnarniaqattigu taanna uuttuutigittiarluttigum udlaakkun I want to first thank the Prime Minister for being here with us, as well as the incredible elder we have who lit a wonderful khudluk to start off such amazing news on the incredible critical infrastructure announcement that we are making. I want to thank my good friend as well, Minister Vandal, Minister LeBlanc, who was really eager to be here. I really want to acknowledge him as well and wish him a speedy recovery. As well, I want to acknowledge the great leadership President Gupta with NTIs brought forward, as well as our Member of Parliament, Ms. Iqaluit. And we also have Minister Juanasi here with us as well, and Your Worship, Mr. Bell. So, I'm thankful to the Government of Canada for addressing the urgent need and pleased to have assisted the City of Iqaluit in lobbying for these investments. Access to clean, safe water is a right that should be available to any community. Nunavut have struggled to gain this basic right for far too long. Improving Iqaluit's water infrastructure will be essential to paving the way for more homes in the city to address Nunavut's growing housing gap. This upgraded infrastructure will not only be able to mitigate the impacts of climate change, but it will also meet the needs of our expanding population. Our capital city is growing at an unprecedented rate, and we need reliable infrastructure to increase our housing stock, grow our economy, as well as secure more opportunities for our future. Today's announcement is a testament of our collective strength when united in a common cause. Working on all levels of government in partnership with our Inuit organizations, we could achieve significant gains for Nunavut. So, hoyan namin.
Thank you, Premier, for those words, and I will now turn it to Nunavut MP Lori Iqaluit for her remarks.
Hoyan namin, Nunavut mo siguro si Akeeagok manade tunini arang may dakatat mga tunini arang may dakatan hoyan namin tan siguro yung kalimakatat tunini arang may dakatan pekogari of idlo mo Miss Idlo.
When the water crisis reached its peak in October last year in Iqaluit, it came at the worst time. Iqaluit had already been struggling with adhering to important public health measures. The dire need for water became worse as winter arrived. The water crisis illuminated the amazing ability of Iqaluit to come together. On a daily basis, it was wonderful to see and hear people ensuring that elders and those without vehicles were provided bottled water. All levels of government, Inuit organizations, and private companies came together to ensure that drinkable water was available. I volunteered on the first evening that a huge shipment of bottled water was first provided, and remember the lineup and the great volunteers that stood outside in the cold evening. Ikaw mabunga, Kuya Ridlungaro, Amaru Tana, Sivuraktariyavut, NDP Kunit, Jagmeet Singh, Ayok to Katarong Mat, Tamani Ikarong Nated Lugo, Ikayok to Tau Kanirakang Ning Ikarong Mutate. Ikaw mang mayunga, Mayor Bell, Tusak Bigid Lugo, Surigo Utaking Mata, Kasikad lang ni Takang ni Utaking Mata go, Kinayang ni Tuksigarok Tang Minni, Ujang Naropok, Piliriak sa Kaktunga Suri. Titirarilok po nga, Minister of Infrastructure, Minister LeBlanc mo, nariyoriklo nga, takwa, kano ikayong niyang mga ta. Kuya ribo nga, akswaro udlumi, ilaw yung nakama, Prime Minister Trudeau, Minister Vandal, Premier Akeeagok, Amaro Minister Johnson, Mayor Bell, Amaro President Kutik, Tabane Katigigake, Kauyi Magama, Tana, Ikayok to Kataraw nang ni, Ikarong mute, Imitiavang mit, Piyunak niyang mata, Sivunik Sangmot, Akunyo Yamit. Mayor Bell, Akswaro Upigivagit, Katitlutit, Amisunit, Sivuraktinit, Takwa Katujakatigilaktik Kavigit, Kigaktok Taput, Aksoro Tigilutigut, Pilerit Tiarakata, Katujakatigilaktigabit, Kuya Rivagit, Kuya Naminguyuse Ilon Nase.
Thank you. Thank you very much, MP Iqaluit. I'd now like to welcome His Worship Mayor Kenney Bell to deliver his remarks on behalf of the City of Iqaluit.
Sibod kami Lori ukakatatang ini kay chamane unikau sakharatanga. When Laura mentioned that when we were at our worst, that the public came together. Ikayoktaulu tenuna siuta hangitulo ima harawangote luta ikayoktau hatarawangata aichawotia hatatutu imaktabime kume takwaro namina khokto inuilu governmentlu ikayoktau hatigituti nuna de pau yakullu kachutia hatigiga sichau kigilawangata ima haronektuaroma Archivote imahara harwangatun take koro hangata shekutiki kutera to sebulapa Chikimateka yura mayung akira sokta karwatuta take ko eka yokta pero prohoyan na merama baka ang yuara me emam chiki harangat take ko ramesware inu tukira chuchi uimaya ati imong mai chakatara to naro na onira ma tamaneka yokte hatigin I remember about a few months ago that when I heard about this, I started writing letters to the Minister Vandal to work on the water crisis and issues pertaining to the water crisis in Iqaluit, and that I would like to thank Mr. Vandal, Premier of Nunavut, Mr. Joannesy, Mayor Bell, and Akeeagok for their support on trying to get our funding together. And I'm very proud of Mayor Bell for all the hard work that he did on behalf of Iqaluit. He worked really hard in trying to get the partnerships together to make sure that we get our funding to improve the quality of the water and improve the infrastructure of the water system in Iqaluit.
Thank you. I would now like to welcome Mayor Kenney Bell to deliver his remarks on behalf of the City of Iqaluit.
Mayor Kenney Bell, Iqaluit, Sibulakting.
Sorry. Thank you everyone for being here. I feel like some of my gray hair might be turning back to brown. We're extremely excited with this announcement. I could go on a long conversation about how this is going to change our city, because it will. It's going to give us a foundation to build on, something that we've been lacking for a number of years. Our infrastructure is in critical need of an influx of money, and this is going to help us greatly. I want to thank the Prime Minister Trudeau for being here today and for making this announcement. But moreover, I want to thank Minister Vandal and Minister LeBlanc, who have been, we've been talking, weekly for months now, pushing for this. They've taken every single meeting request I've ever sent. It has been amazing working with you, and from the citizens of Iqaluit and myself, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the work that you have done to make this happen today. Furthermore, I want to thank Premier Akeeagok. Your leadership coming out of the gate as a new premier has been greatly appreciated, and I know that you've been advocating on our behalf. I want to also thank Ms. Iqaluit, our MP, and the leader of the NDP party, Jagmeet, who both were very vocal in their advocacy for the water fix here in Iqaluit. And also our Senator Patterson, he was also asking questions in the Senate on a regular basis about our water situation. So I want to thank him as well. QIA and NTI have been critical partners and will be critical partners moving forward on everything we do here in the city and in Nunavut. We really appreciate your leadership. Thank you for being here today. And I know Jeremiah is also online. Without the last thing I'm going to say, without Amy and her team and our fellow councillors who have given me the ability to give me the direction and the will to move and continuously advocate on behalf of the city, we wouldn't be here today. And honestly, I'm going to clap for you because you guys have all been such a great help for us, and I appreciate everything you guys do for our city. So thank you very much.
Kuyunami kayarida waruaktunga kayurtik kanni palle balleertunga kino yakta. Kan ako niya resimaruti ila pinasawakatigo ila ayun niya kasi matakatigo tama nga sakatay tunga wikatso siya kasut si magarawakata nunatingi pimakayari kingum majawa ako ni kadlaro. Kena yakta kaso gautigila watigo Nunavut makichat alle hulugo. Kaya na meron majakatan siguro kay kanatamo niliang watak sinakauman. Pero wakta may Mr. Vandal ama Mr. Blanc. Ayun niya kaya suking ukakatiga si magakatak kanya katsimaryutuning hanok to si matakata. Ayun niya tiyaktuting kaya si wakata mata takkanya anigo kataktunni. Kanutuin niya tiyak takwa kanya kataraw mati niya ko jari tiyaktunga takkuninga tamakini ikajung watak sinang manginyan. Ammarutan na koyan na meron malugo sibulat sibo pijaya kaya Nunavut mo sibulat si tatigin na katigo ajawin na mawatini ikajoktoktuni. Tanaro Loblang sibulat dengan di kun ayun niya kaksimatang may ikajokaswaksuni watini nidle tutigin na yung mago imakitsang na kajabot imaglun na kajabot Amaro Senator Patterson ipakakataraw mima tamani kigakagatigo kigaktuedlune. Kikaptanay katutakatigay Nunavutunga kulo timinga pimakayaro me katutakatigay simagatigo ikayoktayo katigay inatyakto tataman na kanokto katigaraw katigo. Ila tayo may nginyak naraksitaro tung ikayoktayo katigay luta pinisuwa katalang agata tamatuming sakay kasulakatuta kingul lapang warawasuni ukwa kawjari gumatsyak tunga katimayo katinyi tapire tsaksuta katimayo katigay simagata takwang pata katimayo katika ajokta nikuma kayustitigun nakayarawin nama tamakuninga ikajoktaw ninyo narakotige gunni yominauktung ayun na kayun nakako nitigayaw yung madlungan tamaw nga ikarumiw taw katinyo ayok kaswaktiluta kino yaktawit sani yun na de aurat yutigayang immoani makipareat siya huluta kayo sityat ang ako yan na mertung.
Thank you so much, Mayor Bell. We all know how important this project is for you and for the city. And I thank you for your leadership, particularly during these very challenging times. Through the pandemic or the water plant shutdown, you've remained absolutely steadfast in your commitment to the residents of Iqaluit and never let up in your efforts. So thank you. Next, I would like to welcome Aluki Kotiark, President of NTI. Aluki, the floor is yours.
Mayor Bell, Tan Mayor Bell nila atona toko katara mate karamio katya timakati an nubak juanak to pipale kilogo tatiga yau na katara wakabe amaro emarlo tuara silo si tamachuminga kama katara wakabe siburak tiga yau luti kama tia katara wakse sapile taste lisimatia to se kayusti tiguna katara wakse hojan na mertunga sang semana kilo ni asia nugala ajoina ga inakto hojan na mera mabunga ilini kingulo me khale manya me yo aroke kuta nuna vetunga veko anga yokanga ajoina lako
Ullakon sivullerpaami nillerutigiumayaqa ilisariumalluгuru taiyauqoyugarua ikserarjua mamiannereqqauyanga ilisariqqaarumayaqa innuuqativut ilinniareartitauqattalaortut nunaqqaqqaarsimayunu ilagiyauyun ullumi piluartumi aksuruqtuksaungmata nalunangittu aksuruqtun tauvunga nunaqqaqqaarsimayun ikserarjuami katimaqatiqarniartu tusaumalertillutigu tusakataksimagattiguaksurunninginni taissumani nutarakuluin aullartitauqattalaorsimangmata aksurukatangmata naglingnarmi tungaveqakkannilaukatta piluartumi ullumi inuuqativun isumagillutigut aksuruqtullu naglingnarmi tungaveqakkannerli piyumayamini atungikkaruarluti piyumayamini atungikkaruarluti taimaittausimannikkuungmata isumarsunngilluti ammaru inuuqativut naglingnarmi tigumiakkannerlavun saimaqatigiinnarmut tikiutinasukluni aksuruurnaqattarman aqquti aksuruurnaqaluartillugu aniguutiyunnarniaqatta niriugiyaqa saimaqatigiinnarmut tikiutiyunnarniarnivun tamanna ullumi quviasuutigillarippavun Iqaluit nunaripauyanga kiinauyarnigavamatuqakkunni saqqivviungmata isumagiyaqarunni aglaataanna saimaqatigiinnarmut tikiutinnarman nunarjuamin inui kikkutuinnaugaruaruti imattiavaqareaqartu inuuseqattiarunnaqulugin kinnatuinna aglaatamaani nunarinni nakparteriummagu tappiquterjuani iglunilluunni imattiavaqarunnautimin pitaqattiareaqartu tamannalunuvagjuarnar 19 attoqlutigu ujirrissimarjuartavu aggavut oasagayumnersauquyauutillugin qanno atuutiqallaringmanga imattiavaqarna teimmeimmat qauyummayunga nunaringni nunavu iluani ajigingittut nunariuqativut imattiavaqarunnauttimittau ikayortaujariaqarniarninginni niriugnermit ullumi tikitauqqannerpugut nunaripauyanga angayoqqaanu tuqqarviuqattartu ikayortaungmagavama tuqakkunnu niriungneqarpunga katujjeqatigigluta nunavummi katujjeqatiginginnu haamlakkunnu pilireqatigillutigun inuittimiqqutingin ammalu nunavugavamanga piuyumik nunavurimamu tuangayumi saqqitittikkannerunnarniarnittinni ullumi quviasuutigillarippavu tamaani nunarippauyaq Iqaluit kiinauyanni sanervaiviungmata ammalu tungaveqakkannerluta niriungnermi tikitauqqanneqatta tamanna saimaqatigiinnarmun atuutiqarniartu First, I want to take a moment and just recognize the news that we heard that the Pope has offered an apology to Indigenous peoples, and Inuit, being a part of Indigenous peoples in Canada, have also been touched, hurt, have had horrible experiences. And I urge all of us to have more empathy today, especially today. We know that there will be many feelings felt with hearing that the Pope has provided an apology, and there will be many mixed, confusing emotions. And I urge everyone to be not only gentle with oneself, but to be gentle with our fellow Inuit. We cannot understand the horrific experiences that our fellow Inuit experienced when they were sent away to residential schools. And in my view, the path to reconciliation always has very difficult periods. And I take comfort that although this will be difficult for fellow Inuit, it is an important step. And I would say that today we're gathered here to celebrate and acknowledge the great investment that the federal government is making. And I would say that it also is a part of reconciliation. And we appreciate the great commitment financially that the federal government has made to the capital city of Nunavut. We know that water is vital to all of us around the world to be able to live and to have a good life. We know that water and wastewater systems are crucial in order for us to make additional investments in infrastructure and housing. And it's become acutely aware across our territory how important water is as we live through the global pandemic with COVID-19. And we've been given the public health measures to continue to wash our hands. So I'm filled with great hope today and excitement that the city of Iqaluit has been provided the federal financial support. And I look forward to working as Inuit organizations and the regional Inuit associations, working with the Nunavut Association of Municipalities, as well as the government of Nunavut, so we can move forward to address the water needs across our territory. But today we take great celebratory moment and reflect on the great achievement for the city of Iqaluit. Hoyan nami.
Thank you, President Kortiak, for your very important words on this historic day. We will now open the lines for questions from the media. I will turn the floor over to Alexi Cameron, who will run today's media portion of the event.
Kuyanami. Tanaro Matuamiaro Majabu, people there, to shout it again. Our Chiganayas, Alexi Cameron, Upper Sukatuni, Haningotiko, Iron, Kamarangman.
Iqaluit, good morning. Thank you to the media for attending this momentous event. Questions will be a combination of questions from in-person and virtual media attendees. Participants in the Q&A session include the Honorable Daniel Vandal, Minister of Northern Affairs, the Honorable PJ Akeeagok, Premier of Nunavut, and His Worship Kenney Bell, Mayor of Iqaluit. Participants will be answering questions relating to this announcement.
Nunavut PJ Akeeagok, Iqaluit Mayor Kenney Bell, Kina Tati New Mitchano, Apasolangamata.
The first question will be from Emma Tranter at CBC News.
Emma
Emma Tranter at Canadian Press.
Emma Tranter, Canadian Press.
Good morning. Thanks for taking our questions. What is the timeline for the new reservoir and the new distribution system?
Thank you, Emma. So it's obviously going to be a lot of work. This announcement is really going to put the city on the map, and it's going to be never ending. But about 4 years in a stage approach, we believe that most of the job will be completed.
The next question will be from David Venn at Nunavut.
Good morning, everyone. My question is for Minister Vandal. The city of Iqaluit has been asking for and needing better water infrastructure for years now. My question is, why did it take until after there's fuel contamination in our water for the Liberal government to act?
Minister Vandal, Nunavut Pauja Koikaruni, Akeeagok Suarani, Chaksimagaro, Kenya, Imikia, Varangamanga, Hanima, Kisiane, Oxuar, Kunjanga, Imanga, Nunavut Pauja Kut, Kuru Nasita Tarakase, Liberal government.
Yes, from the very beginning, since being elected in 2015, our government has put healthy drinking water on the front burner for all Canadians and indigenous nations as well. We work very closely with territories, with cities, with indigenous nations through our infrastructure program. Indigenous Services Canada also has invested billions in clean drinking water. This became an issue that was front and center recently when an application was made to Infrastructure Canada. We expedited this and we actually turned it around in a relatively short amount of time. We work closely with territories, with cities, and with Indigenous nations to prioritize projects, and it's really a partnership. And but this is something that was a priority. We've invested $214 million, and this will be, we hope, a long-term solution.
2015 tidlugu taimanga naqartaararsimakattaa innaaqinnaqattigu imikkiava haqeharmi kanatamiutalimaatianu nunahaqqaarsimayulununanginnut imikkiavalaqini sabulliutisimakattigu taakkua billions nginniittuni kiinaujarming atorsimalertugu aura tukinyo nunere mone aura tukinyo toanga yuni tan mana tuava nasikala ra matusa tau hatta ra mituava nasiningano tutsara to harmakina yani tamanga yukarunne sukayukku kamari jauti chautikila oktawayo nyaga sikautikilutigu Kilami kurulutan na kamari jau kauktoramme aku nyaga tayo naksilutik tuava nasiningano takwa nunere gabamangi namituinakto nuna hakasimal lulu katu jahatigenge katu jahatigilugi kisiani wakatigo taima akachuya haraumayugu ikayakto jahatigituta 240 million ning sakpayo naksila kugu imikia waraginamu turanga yumi.
The next question is from Teresa Kaitzuk at CBC News.
Kunyarang mi Teresa Kaitzuk CBC kuni.
Akeeagok kasarno nunalipaw ko hinihatak si malik mata nakingalang ang mga imavo tako kinaw zay tutchika mamaya tako kinaw zay sakititaw zo hano ikazulang ba isumaliok nirmi nakingalang ang mga imavo. The city has spent many years looking for I guess where we're going to get our water from. How will this money help make that decision on where it will come from and to build the infrastructure from there?
Thank you, Teresa. First, I just want to respond to Nunavut News, who constantly only reports bad and mostly wrong news. We applied in October. Although the city has been in great need of water infrastructure for many, many years, we applied to the federal government in October. And they've already turned it around, and now announcing the $214 million today is amazing. It's been unbelievably fast, and we really appreciate that. So thank you, Minister Vandal and Minister LeBlanc. So there's already been studies, to answer your question, Teresa, there's already been studies underway. We're just finalizing the plan now. There's two locations, of course, which is Unnamed Lake and Silver Grinnell. Once we've had some time to do some consultations with the HTO and other organizations around the city, then we'll have a plan brought forward to council. So the work's already there. It's just a matter of finalizing those things. So it should be relatively soon.
Teresa, nidlaqaaqu nga nunatsiarniusku mitsaanu apiqqutigiqqaujangana apiqqutigiassi akaungittumu qajummata taimaatiagungiturlu unikkaasiqattaqatsi uqausiugiviniugaruani ukuari kiiñauja aktoobulaurtumi tutsaqautigitain sukkajumariarummi tabba kiinoyartaartitausimayugu aktoobuk naqulummi tutsaqalaurtiluta 240 million saqqikaurtuqunnarmata hojannami Minister Vandal amma lablaan hojarigumayinga taanna tuisamokiuttutigisaqa maqqaunni tasiinni ila imaqta bitsauyunnartuuni qimmeqqusimayugu aipanga tasi atlaqangittuunaartaavuttu ammalu tainna ku imangani qanortuuqutigisimmasaqaluavu kisiani katimahatigeqqaaraumilugi umayummiartikku katimajingi ammaqukkuun asingillu qatullaqatigi tamaanermiutai apersuqattariaharmigattaila uqaqatigilaurlugi nalle akaunerpaangugajarmangaan angiyukallaarummi kamasimaleriiqaluartugu nakin imirtavitsaharunnermangaatta kisiani taakkua saqqermata kayusigiaqqalliagunnarsilangaju lertugu tamatamiga.
Our last question will be from Trevor Wright at Nunavut News.
Kingullaqaapiarlangaju Trevor Wright, Nunavut News.
Hi there. This question is probably for Dan. Are there any other plans to help fund other Nunavut water infrastructure projects? Like I believe Rankin is experiencing similar problems such as here. So.
Imakta imitsiavalaqinu matuqaangajuni asingi nunali isimagijavasimavat atsuqormimatattau taikua kangersimami piluartu taimaatsainnaquyu akailleruutiqaqngata imaumitsaanu isimagijavasimava asingi nunali.
Thank you for that question. Again, since being elected in 2015, our government has invested billions of dollars in clean water facilities all over Canada, in territories, cities, Indigenous nations. And if there is a need for clean drinking water, we are absolutely open to talking to hamlets, to cities, to territories, and assessing the situation and hopefully getting applications. When applications come in either through Infrastructure Canada or through Indigenous Services Canada, we will look at them very seriously and try to expedite them, because every Canadian deserves clean, safe drinking water.
Atorsimaruttugu salumayami immakhatsiartuinnaugiaqqaqata namilimaatsia kaimattau kinguumatsiluhaqqanalliani tuinnanunalinni upinnaqani naalanniartugut haamlaugaluarpat nunalipauliaugaluarpat uppaluunni nunalaqalaagunersaugaluarpata tutsaqautiliortuqarumatuaruni nalliani tuinna imatsiavalaqinni umitsaanu tutsaqarunnaqatsi government-leqigikkunnun ukiortatsalleqigikkunnun nunalillu makimattusitsanginnu kiinaujaqqaivattuni taikkualu inuleqigituqakkun eqqanaiarpingani ngannu tutsaqartoqarunnarmayo tutsaqarumi pisitsautuarutta tamatumunga toqaangajimi taimattau sukkajukku kamagitsautigiapigassuaqajartavut tuavarnallaqinninga qaujituaquptigu quyannami.
This concludes the Q&A section. Follow-up or additional questions can be sent to each participant's media representatives. Koyanamik, thank you.
Qanutuinna taakkua kiuhattaqataartu toqaarviuluti apersorpigigunnartasi toqaaruti pisimajavu piimagutsiu.
Thank you, everybody. That's all the time we have today. Thanks for everyone for joining us, and congratulations. Look forward to visiting you in person very soon.